All right, everybody, we're here. We are live again here on YouTube. And man, this is crazy because normally our guest here tonight is usually the first person to comment on our YouTube when we go live. But now he's here as a guest. We got Dwayne Steeler on the show.
What's
Steeler.
up, docs?
What's up, docs? Nice.
What's up, Steeler? How's it going? I saw recently you were you at a club a couple of nights ago dancing.
Yes, I did. I went to that different club called the DL. I never been there before, but it's a good venue. They have some two DJs upstairs. Or one of my longtime friend of mine doing the '80s DJ in the second floor. So I stayed in the second floor, and there's another floor that I didn't go up. I really don't care. So I think they play some different type of music. I really do not care.
So it's the '80s music. You went to go dance to some '80s music.
Yes, yeah, and some familiar face and one of my old friends came by and we just enjoy the music and the dance. We have a great time.
Well, you remember what songs you were dancing to?
Billy Idol, Rebel, yeah, baby.
Nice. Very, very nice. What's another of your big 80s hits there, Dwayne? What when you're in the club, what really kind of gets the motor running?
Uh, I'm gonna say Billy Idol for Christ's sake. Come on, you gotta love Billy Idol.
Can't not. There you go. The man's entire catalog, right?
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
But there is some 80s singer and songs back in the past. They never gets old, but it was a top.
What's that?
There is some 80s musician. They were on top. Some of them are underrated. They have some good song. They never get on the number one hits, but I'm gonna say it's underrated. I did some lot of discover. So I did some lot of research on YouTube, and I did found something like long ago is that it should be on. This should be on 1985 in the top hits. But you know what? I don't care because to me that's one of the best songs ever.
What's the
Well,
song?
I got to tell you, when I'm here with you, Dwayne, I'm curious why we're not hearing what is it, Duran's "Hungry Like the Wolf."
That's a good song.
That's a great
That's a good song.
Yeah, we're here with the
That's
wolf himself, El Lobo himself.
That's where my head goes. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Dwayne, have you ever sang a cover of "Hungry Like a Wolf"?
Did I sing? Did I sing a cover of "Hunger Like a Wolf"? No, I don't know. Maybe if I know the song, if I know the words, I had to practice. You never know. You never know. I might do that. I'm still a metal guy. Do a metal version of Duran. Why not? That'll be cool.
Yeah, I know recently, well, I guess kind of recently because I missed the show, but apparently you got to play with John Brett and the Big Feet, and you guys did Ninja Turtles, right?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
That's awesome. I wish I got to see it. I was fucking, I don't think I was working somewhere. I missed it.
I understand. But next time.
Yeah. So
Next time.
you like singing with the Big Feet and John Brennan?
John Butt is great. He's great. Big Feet, fantastic. Fantastic band. John Butt became an underrated guy, but I'm gonna say he's in the top. He's in the top.
Dwayne,
He's
did you see
yeah.
that John recently and the Big Feet played at somebody's wedding?
Yes, I saw the pictures. I saw it on Instagram and Facebook. That's amazing.
That is amazing. That's like, like a certain that's a level of fame when you get to now start being like the wedding band.
Well, wait.
And
When
people hire you.
they invite you,
Yeah, exactly. They invite
the
you.
wedding.
Yeah. And
it's not like you're specifically like, oh, you're not Adam Sandler
Yeah.
here. You're not the wedding singer,
Yeah.
right? You're not going from wedding to wedding to make a living. There's nothing wrong with that. But this was specifically a mutant mutant wedding, and the whole crew was there. Like Joe Bob, Darcy, all of them were there. Brennan, the Big Feet, for whatever reason, they still brought Jimmy along with them. Little Jimmy
I
Adamson.
know, seeing like Brennan and little Jimmy Adamson and Joe Shack there. I was like, damn, look at my friends all just like being hired to play at a wedding, invited, being the superstars, man. They're becoming rock stars. And Dwayne, you're gonna follow them and be a rock star with them.
Yeah, yeah, it was a fun. It was a very fun time. I just love working with John Burr and the Big Feet. Maybe one day in the future, but John Burr is number one. I'm just a guest. I'm just guest appearance, and so having a great time with you and the fans and John Burr and the Big Feet.
Yeah, I remember the last show we went to, you played for them. It was like a wolf show. The theme was like wolf related. And then we go outside after the show, and it was a full moon outside.
Yes, we
What?
did. Yes, I was very surprised.
That was, yeah. And what an epic night that was, too.
It was a big night 2 years ago, and it was awesome.
That was 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2022.
Oh, fuck. God
What
damn.
was the first one though? Wasn't that like 2019 or 2020?
The first one was 2019. That was in Broadway. I think it was a place called Will. What's that bar name again?
Bro, I cannot remember the name of the bar, but I will never forget
Oh,
that
you were
show.
there. I had to miss it again because I was
Yeah,
off
I
working.
know I know what the era is, but I don't like that. I don't like the era. Not the bar, not but the era. I don't like the era. That place of art. It's too creepy. It's too garbage with the rest of those humans.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah, around
It's
Broadway in Brooklyn. Too creepy with these humans.
These gross humans.
Yeah, gross, disgusting humans.
Yeah, but Ben, you were there. I mean, I was jealous again. I missed another great Dwayne
Bro,
performance.
I 100% was there. Yes. I remember that quite vividly. What is it? Friends of the show, not only John Brennan, but Zach and Miko, Reeves. It's like it feels like everybody but you was there.
Yeah, I
James.
know. I remember.
And Dylan Marsh Greensbush, she was there too.
Yeah.
Oh, Dylan, absolutely. Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, because I did mention Dylan and Zach and Miko. There's two trauma stars. They was there.
I just remember that transformation happening right there on stage in front of us, and it was
Yeah, for Liz,
like-
since you don't know, Dwayne does a full werewolf transformation dance.
I
And
bet
it's-
that's awesome.
I know, and I saw the picture. I saw the screen with the American Werewolf in London, the Howard. That has got to be one of the best footage I ever seen. I was so surprised. I was so damn surprised.
so good. Absolutely so
Yeah.
good.
Jealous.
So anyway, let's get Looney Tunes, shall we?
Yeah, let's just let's get into some Looney Tunes. Usually Ben is our transition here, but
I mean, I had a whole segue worked up, Steeler, about how I've been losing weight. My body though is taking a toll on me. Even though I'm losing all this weight, something seems to be happening with the gas inside of me, and it's just I just be farting a lot. And I was gonna segue that into what do you call it? Sort of happy. What is it? Happy music, happy whatever, or in turn, sort of a merry melody that my body is putting out.
Wow.
A Looney Tune coming from my backside. But you know what? You're right, Dwayne. We're just gonna hop in. We have you for a limited time. I agree entirely. Let's get started, brother.
Yeah, because as you can see from our YouTube title, today is Dwayne Steeler's Masterclass in Looney Tunes and the Merrie Melodies. So, yeah, Dwayne, where do you want to start? Where do we start in all of this years of Looney Tunes?
let's start in 1929 for the
1929.
20s to the 30s.
Wow. Yeah. So yeah. So how does that start off? Where do we where does Looney Tunes begin?
Louis to the Merrie begins in 1929, and we see some rise of the black and white golden age of animation, similar to Walt Disney,
Yeah.
where he create and animate Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. This is now Steamboat Willie, right? Which is now free. Also, it's on our YouTube. You can watch it.
Yes, and I know you guys did talking about it, but before Mickey Mouse, it back in like the 1910s in the 20th century, the first animation was a dinosaur, and the first animation of dinosaur looks really elixir. I said, wow, this is very interesting.
Right.
This is
That's
like
the one where the
this is like
guy
the
was
first.
on stage, right? And then he showed it to a group of people, and then he like walked off stage, and then the dinosaur picks him up in the movie, and they ride off.
Yes.
So, and real quick with that, in this whole process, I learned so much, and just that little bit of business that they did with him, like leaving to be like, oh, I'm gonna go over here and take a look at a thing, and then like, ooh, whoops a doodle, you know. Now he's on top of the dinosaur inside of the animation. From the very beginning, the things that people were doing with mixed media, film, and animation is tremendous. I just have to
Yeah.
put that out there. You know
And
what I mean?
it's always like way more impressive when I see shit that was like even in the 1920s because it's like they literally drew that shit on like pencil and paper and then had to project it on the screen.
And they did like a flip book with it,
Yeah,
you know? Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
This interact with that is so impressive to me. But yeah, so Dwayne, we go from the dinosaur. So where does that go from there? How do we get to Disney?
How we get to Disney? Okay, before Disney, you remember the cartoon character named Felix the Cat?
Absolutely.
That's yes, and then some other characters like that we never see before, but the animation, the silent
Yeah,
animation
because yeah, this is still
before
before talkies, right?
that's yes, yes
The good old
exactly.
talkies.
Yeah, exactly. And then Walt Disney was doing some animation, and then started doing the sound, and then slowly Mickey Mouse became the first cartoon character. Okay, came around, and the black and white was very different. It was just the beginning, but it was like is more like a new evolution of the beginning since the days of the Depression. Remember the Depression era days in the late 20s in 1929
I
during
mean,
this
I don't.
time.
Man, I remember it so well, Dwayne.
I don't know if I
Like,
remember it, but I,
you
learned
don't
about
even know. Like,
it.
the world had taken a dump. We're living inside of a dust bowl. Uh, I can barely scrape together two pennies to put a plug of tobacco in my lip there. It's terrible.
You got to
I
poop in
remember the
buckets.
depression. I'm also very old, Dwayne. You know that, though.
It's okay. Maybe in the future you could go on YouTube and you watch the history of the Great Depression in the 19.
Ben's like,
and
I know that guy.
relive my sorrow.
Yeah.
It's like your whole
And
movies.
yeah. Before I continue, Ben, you look great. I see you shave. You look
Oh,
great.
Oh, thank you, bud. Thank
look
you,
at
You look
that.
thank you.
handsome. You look handsome with the beard.
Hmm.
Well, listen to you. What are you like? You're warming my heart here.
It's our
We have
guest hyping
a
you up here, Ben.
since we're in a full blown you love fest. I also have to say this is the fullest the chat's been in a minute. We've got dozens of folks in here. I say dozens. There's at least four. Uh, everybody from
I
our
know.
sponsor to the aforementioned John Bergio, Ben Schatzels in the chat. We've got Big Dan. We've got what is it, Reeves in here. We've got a ton of people.
Wow, everyone wants to
Uh,
learn from Steeler.
Hi, Dan.
Listen,
Yeah,
There you
people,
go.
and people in the audience, if people only want to ask questions, I'll give you answers to you. So in the meantime, let's move forward to the Warner Brothers. Now,
Yeah, the
Leon,
one.
yeah, Leon Schlesinger, who became the producer in the Warner Brothers animation studio, the animation studio called Termite Terrace.
Right, yeah, that's the studio that pretty much made all the Looney Tunes.
Yes.
Now,
Now,
real quick, Dwayne, before you go too much further, why did they call it Termite Terrace?
what I was watching the history of Merrie and Looney Tunes, they call it termite terrors. I think there's some animators who brought it up, who brought up that name. So I don't.
So real quick, because and thank you so much for sending this stuff to us. I
Mhm.
watched through these as well. For the uninitiated, a large reason why they called the and correct me if I'm wrong here, Steeler. A large reason why they called it Termite Terrace, the original Looney Tunes studio, was because it was in the dingiest, dirtiest, absolute crappiest part of the Warner Brothers lot. They were like, just throw these trash cartoonists in this corner and let them be degenerates. And so the cartoonists that worked there started to call their space Termite Terrace, and it was a name that stuck as they went along. Does that sound familiar, Dwayne? Is that right?
Yeah. Yes. What I watched the history, and they was talking about it, where the names come from, and yes, and yeah, they did. They come from the garbage, and then the place was very filthy. That's what they call termite terrace. I mean, that's the name.
There you
That,
go.
And it's
that's the
like,
name
right,
of
like
the
the studio heads didn't even care, right? I mean, they didn't even, they were like, they literally let them do whatever they wanted because they just didn't even care about what they were putting out.
yes. Now, Leon Schlesinger, who was a producer of the Looney Tunes and Merrie Melodies. Now, there is two cartoon creators who create a first Looney Tunes character, and his name was Bosco.
Oh, Bosco.
Yes.
Interesting, Bosco.
Yes, I'm not a fan of Bosco, but I heard about the history about him at the time. I did watch one of the cartoon, but for all due respect, Bosco was kind of popular character. The thing is that one of those two creators did create Bosco, because Bosco, he's the character of Bosco, he was the little black boy
Yeah, which is,
who likes to sing, who likes to dance,
yeah, it's kind of
likes to
fucked up.
yeah, yes, and he also has a girlfriend. Um, I forgot her name. I'm gonna do some research for a second.
Yes, but Dwayne, so what do you think of like of Bosco? I mean, like since you are the only person of color right now on our right here talking about it. I mean, do you find it just to be just racist, or do you find it also to be important to Looney Tunes at all?
Bosco is more important become the star of the Looney Tunes franchise in the Looney Tunes brand, not Merrie
Yeah,
Melodies. Merrie Melodies are different, but we'll get to
yeah,
that a little bit later on. So Bosco became one of the first Looney Tunes characters that he was kind of popular. He was kind of popular and underrated, but he's one of the very very great characters. Um, they made a couple of shorts of Boston cartoon until 1933. That two creators of Bosco have a fallout with Leon Schlesinger. So both anime creators quit the company and take Bosco with him to another animated company called MGM.
Oh, MGM.
Yes.
It is shocking to me throughout this entire process, just sort of like how incestuous these companies are.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, even to Disney. I mean, Walt, they said well, he was
Mm-hmm.
friends with all the same people that started the Looney Tunes, Warner Brothers stuff. Like, they were all animators together originally, and then
well,
went off to LA together.
and Dwayne's gonna get us there. I already know, but if we fast forward a little bit, if you look at some of the people that worked like MGM, Warner Brothers, Disney. If you look at sort of that, it's like a rotating carousel of like I'll work here, then I'll work here, then I'll
Yeah,
come back to here, and I'll bounce over there. It's it's
It's
very
crazy.
incestuous at this
And
point in
everybody
time.
was drunk.
yeah,
Did y'all get this from the research? Like
yeah.
every animator was just drunk, didn't care. They were just
Well,
coming in doing whatever.
just they were all also
And
early 20s dudes, right?
yeah,
So
and they were looking to get paid,
yeah.
so
make money.
my favorite part of this, and Dwayne, I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but uh and you'll get us back to him, but just to drop a name right quick. My favorite story, I think it's about Tex Avery, how he got his eyeball shot out, and he's one-eyed, he's working with these other lunatics. He ends up quitting, and then he's like, "Nope, greatest work experience I ever had in my life. Love those guys, like brothers." Wild. It is a wild west,
That's,
right?
Tex was a wild man. He was a wild man. He was a crazy guy. He got a lot of crazy gadget idea when he making cartoons, and cool and especially Bob Clampett.
Oh my god.
Mm.
And you start putting these minds together, but let's take a step back, right? Right? We're not quite there yet, right?
You're jumping the shark here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now before I move forward of the next character, now Bosco haven't seen again for decades until in 1990, where he made his shocking return appearance after 3 decades of absence. Bosco did make appear in the Tiny Two Avenger.
Wait, Bosco was in Tiny Toons?
He was in the guest appearance.
Oh, I did not know
Oh
that.
wow.
Yes, where Baz Bunny wants to find out what happened to Bosco and why he disappeared in Warner Brothers cartoon for many years. So the those of you haven't seen this episode where Bosco make his a guest appearance, cameo appearance in Tiny Toon Adventure, go on, watch cartoons online, type down Tiny Toon Adventures, and search one of search one of the Tiny Toons episode featured with Bosco's appearance.
Damn, yeah, I can't believe they brought him back. I thought they would bury that forever.
One would
So,
think.
well,
Yeah,
real quick, just
yes.
in looking it up, Honey is Bosco's girlfriend who becomes the mentor of Babs Bunny in the Tiny Toons episode Fields of Honey. Is specifically, if you're looking it up, it's called Fields of Honey. And what it looks like they did here, I guess to keep going, and y'all tell me if I'm stepping out of line. We already talked about who Bosco was as far as being sort of this horrible, I guess, kind of very racial sort of situation. uh I think specifically they say he resembles a person in blackface. And
Well,
then they
he was
had
based on a jazz character, the jazz man. He was based on him per the documentaries we were watching on YouTube. That blew my mind. I was like, how? That's
how?
awful.
Well, but isn't it shocking how much of I guess sort of American history and entertainment in particular, it's well, we'll get there too, but a medium that is designed for children that is so very specifically adult that is steeped in like cultural racism,
Awfulness.
sexism,
Yeah.
drugs, alcohol, like smoking, so much. Like animation has never been a child's medium. We'll just put it that way. It never has been. It's always been for grown-ups. So much weird sex stuff going on too. But yeah, there are images here of Babs, Honey, and Bosco, and what it looks like they did in the 90s is they added ears to both Bosco and Honey, like little dog-like flappy ears on top of them, to I guess sort of whitewash their own kind of history there at Warner Brothers.
Yeah, someone's got to save it.
Seriously, if you look it up, Bosco. If you look up Fields of Honey.
Yes, I remember this episode. I think the episode was almost a joyous moment, memories, bringing that character back one more time and I guess an appearance is tied into the adventures for the first time all over than 3 decades.
Yeah, that's a long time. Then I'm surprised they even brought him back. But so
Yes.
we have Bosco, and then is Foxy and Roxy after Bosco?
No.
Because I know there was like a Foxy and Roxy that Disney sued them over because it looked a lot like Mickey Mouse, but it was a fox.
Yeah, there is. You're right. You're right. There is. I did check some clips. I did check it because it was kind of weird. Anyway, let me move forward. Forward right now. After a dismiss of Bosco, Leon Slasher searching a new character to replace Bosco, and there's an animator who create the character. Tom Puzzle. Tom Puzzle was the creator of the character that the fans who dislike the character, and he is not the next Bosco.
Yeah, so he failed immediately.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. We're gonna get to that. The character that they create a next star. His name was Buddy.
Buddy. Okay, I don't remember Buddy.
He was in one of these, the first YouTube documentary that Dwayne sent us.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to that YouTube channel. I'm going to say it wrong, but KaiserBeamz. I think that's how you say it. Yeah, 5-6 episode arc documentary series. It's pretty awesome.
So, Buddy was their own personalized whitewashed Bosco.
Whitewashed Bosco is what they call it.
Or should I say the white Mickey Mouse, in my opinion.
Ah, there you go. Yeah.
Bosco was an overrated character that he is not exactly funny, and he's not exactly like Bosco. And yes, James, you're right. Like you mentioned it, he was a failure. He was a misery failure, and the people who watched that back in the decades did not like that character at all.
It is funny to me, like, because I feel like things never change. If you look at what Hollywood does, like with like even superheroes today, but it's like here's a property like Disney and Mickey Mouse that works, and then they're like, all right, how can we do it? So we make our own little Mickey Mouse, and that fails, and everybody else tries to make their own Mickey Mouse, and I love that still like today, almost 100 years later, like studios still try to do that thing of like, oh, this is what's popping, let's make everyone make our own thing of this.
Well, so it becomes a notion of like, where does something actually hit? Where does it not hit? What is can lightning strike twice, right? Inside it, can you keep popping the genie from the bottle? Oh, Mouse was great. People love a fox. Not necessarily. There's something special baked into what that mouse became. You know what I mean? And later on, when we get to some of these artists, what you'll find is there was something special baked into that picture of that rabbit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was something special that that guy Bugs baked into.
And yeah, Sid will
his
get into
drawing.
it too, but it took him a couple tries also to
Yeah,
get that
right,
rabbit right.
right. It took them 4 or 5 times
Yeah.
before they found their guy. You know. So, anyway, please, Steeler, we're still with Mr. Buddy, right?
Yeah. They did make more buddy cartoon shorts until August 24, 1935. They made the final buddy cartoon called Buddy the Geeks Man. I really do not care about that last show cartoon, and they got rid of him. So they got rid of Buddy, and Buddy would never be seen again until decades later. Buddy makes his last appearance in Animaniacs.
Wow.
Nice.
So they keep bringing these old characters back in the 90s. That's funny.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Since Buddy was disappeared without a trace off the show, and then Buddy makes his last appearance, makes his return, and in a cameo, sworn revenge against the Warner Brothers and Sister Dot at Yakko, Wacko, and Dot because Buddy think that those 3 siblings had ruined his career because Buddy was overrated. He
Yeah.
was overrated. He was not funny. He was not the next Sparkle, and they cannot deal with his character. Leon decided to, you know what? Let's get rid of him. Let's get rid of his character. Goodbye. Get rid of him. We want to create another character. Listen, guys. We need to create another new character. Will become the next Looney Tunes superstar. And the same year, 1935, they create 5 other characters. Many I know did not make it to the top until only one cartoon character. Only one character has been around for many decades, and he become the biggest stars of all time. And his name was Porky Pig.
Yeah, Porky
Heck
Pig.
yeah.
Now, who else here was kind of blown away by the fact that Porky was the first one to hit?
No, it's 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not what you expect, is it?
I went through my whole life thinking that like all the Looney Tunes just kind of came out at once.
Right.
Like they all were just always this thing of like Bugs, Porky, Taz, Yosemite, like they're all were together always. I didn't like to know that like Porky Pig was this thing initially that even had like a different voice and almost like a different character. It was just like, that's hilarious and so weird.
It was sad to watch the decline of lead Porky in the Porky documentary. I was like,
Porky.
no. He's the leading man. He should have been kept as a leading man.
Well, that brings an interesting point too, because we'll get to the other actor later. I mean, maybe it's better if I bring it up a little later. But I like the fact that they used to not credit actors on any of these cartoons. Like, and they said in one of these documentaries that Disney, specifically Walt Disney, didn't want to give anyone credit as voice acting because it had to be like a Disney cartoon, which is like wild to me to think about.
Can we just say that Walt Disney sucks?
Yeah.
Like, can we say that just around across the board? Like, we already knew that, and that he whitewashed so many stories in his career.
Yeah.
But just that he sucks in general. He's just was a terrible business person, it seems, to everybody that he encountered.
And everyone, someone on the doc said too that they called him, working with him was like a tyrant.
Well,
yeah.
Famously a Nazi.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Hello.
Yeah.
So
just awful.
Hold that thought. We're gonna get into the 40s about World War II. We're gonna hold that thought for the moment. We'll get to that very shortly.
Absolutely. But real quick, just to put sort of like this sort of fine point on our very first official sort of a member of the Looney Tunes of the Merrie Melodies, the fact that it is Porky Pig and the arc that he will run to me is absolutely fascinating. And you know what, the what is it, Petunia, when she first shows up, she's a weird bald pig just like him that they have to pretty up. They literally put lipstick on the pig to make her more appealing, more appetizing to the general connoisseur out there. The fact that it's Porky is both very endearing and a little bit off-putting to me. I don't know why, but I wouldn't have thought it would have been like our big guy. I wouldn't have thought it was Bugs Bunny that was firsties, right? Only Disney will do that.
Yes, you mentioned Patricia Pig. Yes, she did make a debut in 1937, April 3rd. Her debut, Porky Romance.
Right. Like like okay. So I'm just gonna pitch it real quick. What if we did a big budget like Hollywood once this goes into the public domain, like Steamboat Willie, what if we did like a new updated version of Porky's, but it's about Porky
Porky's
Pig,
Romance.
and then and
It's just
literally
Porky's eye and a hole for the
but
for
it's
the one sheet. Yeah.
it's the rise and fall of Porky Pig as a star. You know what I mean? To where he's nobody, he's second fiddle, he's got this BS little cameo in a thing, then he's the most popular ever, and then he drops down into the dregs again, and now he's like not even barely a supporting actor. And then it's like his downfall, and he's like drinking in the corner, he's like shooting smack, like he's
Shooting smack.
Just turns into Orson Welles.
right.
He's drunk doing champagne commercials.
That's what I'm gonna pitch the second Porky hits public.
Please write it.
Yes, done and done.
All right.
Done and done.
Anyway, Porky Pig was created by the legendary Fritz Freeland.
Legend.
So, he's there from the beginning, right, Dwayne?
Yes, from the beginning. From the beginning, in his debut, before the Porky Pig that we know, the early days of Porky Pig, that he was big and fat and had a different he had a speech had a speech problem. It was the voice actor who has a real speech problems at the time.
Oh, so that was his real
wow.
speech problem that became Porky Pig.
Yes, but Porky's popularity became the top, and the fans love this character. So they did make some other shorts, Porky Pig cartoon, featuring with their friends, like Beans and some other characters. But unfortunately, Porky was the pig. I mean, he was the man. He was the top.
I mean, he's still the top in my heart.
Yeah, so Porky Pig became the big star in Warner Brothers. So in 1937, there's a voice actor replacing the voice actor, and Mel Blanc make his 1937 debut.
Oh, Mel Blanc. So yeah, that's what I want to talk about, because they say in the doc that he's literally the first voice actor to get a credit on the movie. So it's like we're like what, like fucking like almost 10 years into all these voice actors and acting these cartoons, and none of these people got credit until him. That's a huge achievement to me.
It's insane that you go that long being the voice of anything, right? And not getting a credit, or just the producers getting credit. And maybe it's like a little later on in this, but they were talking about how at awards or whatever, it would just be the producers that everybody
Yeah.
know. Oh, this so and so put in such long hours and such hard work. Meanwhile, it's 30 people beneath him, literally stabbing each other's eyes out and not getting any credit for it, and not even getting their names put on the thing
Yeah.
that they were working on.
Like literally, yeah. Like literally not even getting like your name on some like today, I mean, look at all of us who work on these movies. Like we strive to like to watch to see our name at the end of the credits go by for like 3 seconds.
Dude, or even to just make sure it's there for
Yeah.
no other reason. You know what I mean? Which that also reminds me, Dwayne, we have him in the chat tonight. I don't know if he's let you know, but speaking of credits, your voiceover credit is officially in Curse of the Weird-Ear. John Bergio told me that the other night. He's here in the chat and can confirm.
All
Yeah.
right.
We
Thank
made
you,
sure of it.
all right,
We-
John. Thank you, John. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I'll be looking
Yeah.
forward. Get the DVD or the Blu-ray.
We ain't no bullshit Warner Brothers in this house, brother. All right?
Oh,
I'm just telling
Disney.
you.
Or Hollywood.
Exactly. No, we make sure we say then we do.
Yeah, I just worked on a movie that came out. Well, I worked on a movie 2 years ago that just came out on Tubi, and they fucking spelt my name wrong in the credits.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's
I know. My name's not that hard to spell.
They screw you over. They screw
Yeah.
you over.
Whatever. I got paid. It's fine.
Anyway, and anyway, let me move forward because I know
Please.
Yeah.
I know you really want to hear this. Okay. Now speaking of Porky Pig, Warner Brothers need another new character who became popular, but also the beating up bad and something like that. But here's the thing. The creator, Tex Avery, one of my favorite. We love Tex Avery. I have so much, lot of respect. He created another brand new character. Could be a punching bag, but by the early days, he was a chaos nutcase, and he created Daffy Duck, making his first appearance at Porky's Duck Hunt in April 17, 1937.
Yeah, that was interesting to me too, because for me, Daffy Duck was always like the butt of the joke. Like he wasn't like here they show him as the wacky dude who's fucking everything up. But when I always remember about Daffy Duck is that he's the one who's always getting kind of bullied or like.
It just depended on who wrote him.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Because I guess for me, I always remember him with Bugs all the time. Bugs just like fucking giving him shit for a whole cartoon, or him was fuck now I can't remember him in space. He's always just getting shit on. So that's why I was like, I see the beginning of Daffy Duck where he's actually like more of like what Bugs I feel like actually end up becoming of this wacky, just chaotic, just destructive force.
Yes, he was, and Tex Avery and Bob Clampett did make some other Daffy Duck cartoons at the time, and Daffy was one of the most tremendous characters.
Oh, Duck Dodgers. That's what I was thinking of. Duck Dodgers. That's what I was thinking of. I forgot about it. There we go. Now I remember.
We're gonna go to that later. We're gonna go to that later.
Sorry, I'm going too ahead.
I want to move fast because there's something very interesting. And speaking of Daffy Duck, speaking Hunt, April 30th, 1938, the creator Ben Hartway created another character, but before that, it was a prototype character from 1938 from Porky's Hare Hunt. Now, there is a appearance of the prototype on the name as Happy Rabbit, created by Ben Hartway. But
I wonder who that is.
Ben Hartway, but Ben has a nickname named Bugs Hartway. Ben Bugs Hartway. He creates Happy Rabbit. Is a prototype of the future Warner Brothers star. And the next 2 years later, he was a prototype of Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
Before Bugs Bunny, this character was Happy Rabbit. He Happy Rabbit, he's more like a sane, chaotic, crazy prankster. He's more crazy than Daffy Duck.
And yeah, and he
Right.
looked a lot different too than what we know
Yeah.
Bugs to look like. 'Cause I'm
Well, all of these characters have gone through a massive
That's
level of
true.
evolution.
Yeah, yeah.
For
Right,
sure.
that's right. Evolution.
You know what I mean?
That's right. So there is a prototype that this character Happy Rabbit became very good character. So they did make three more appearance of Happy Rabbit until 1940. So we're going to the 40s, shall we? We're going to the 40s.
The
We're
40s.
headed into the 1940s.
But I do want to talk about Happy Rabbit, though. I mean, right? It also, that wasn't popular either, if I remember in the doc. They said that didn't go over at all. Like, nobody was really a fan of him.
Yeah, it was a prototype. It was
Yeah.
a prototype character until he makes some three appearance until 1940. Tex Avery redesign and create Happy Rabbit, but now he created one of the most popular and one of the most biggest stars that we know today. 1940 of the first appearance of White Hair featured with Elmer Fudd. Now, before I continue, Elmer Fudd. I haven't forgot about Elmer Fudd. Now,
Yeah, Elmer Fudd.
but before Elmer Fudd, 1937. I think Tex Avery create a prototype of Elmer Fudd, but the character I've been seeing him for a very, very long time. That this character was the prototype of Egghead.
Right, it was Egghead.
Yeah. So
Yes.
and
Egghead.
that's a really interesting sort of thing. To me, overall, like they have this stable of characters, and they're like, well, it works a little bit or it doesn't work at all. We'll give it 3 opportunities. Now, sometimes that'll be 3 opportunities across 3 different directors who are telling a similar story in a different vein. Sometimes it's 3 opportunities with the same person or a different art design or whatever. But what I find fascinating throughout this is that they keep coming back to this, like, well, give it 3 shorts. We'll see what the public thinks. This is at a time where you had to produce, film, and then pump it into a theater, right?
Yeah.
There's no instant feedback of the internet. There's not
Or
even-
television.
Or television. You're having to go through a company-owned theater, produce it on film, get it out there, and then receive feedback. So the fact that we're already 13 years into this process, right? We said what? We started in 1927, Dwayne?
1937. Yes, 1937.
Right. And now we're 13 years into this process. And we're just now getting to a point to where we're finding who our real mascot is.
Yeah. Yes,
It's
that's like
big-
literally 13 years of let's just keep pumping shit out until something hits.
It's bananas to me. It's bananas. And so the fact that Elmer Fudd starts off as this guy Egghead, who has what they refer to it as, like a milk toast voice or whatever. I forget how they
Yeah.
specifically described his voice, but it was like it was
He had a voice.
very funny.
His voice actor, I think, changed also.
It did at one point.
Yeah.
It was Otis from the Andy Griffith Show, the town drunk.
Oh, damn, I didn't know that.
Isn't that the picture they kept showing? Like, Liz,
Probably.
you would know.
Mm-hmm. It is.
It is. That's what I thought. Yeah. At one point, Elmer Fudd was voiced by fucking the guy that played Otis, and
Arthur.
there you go, and Mel LeBlanc's own son, because he got laid up much later on in life. He got laid up in an accident
Yeah,
and
they
had to
show
bring
the
his kid
photo,
in.
which is I love the photo of him in the hospital with the mic over his hospital bed. That's
Yes.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was back in 1961. Mel
Yeah.
Glenn was in a car accident.
Can you imagine and I know that's way fast forwarding, Dwayne. I apologize, but just how many people voice the same character, I think, is fascinating. But can you imagine, like, you're laid up from a car accident, and then like here comes Jack Warner into while you're convalescing, being like, "We got to get those voices for the kids."
Do you know Jack One was an asshole at the time?
Oh, they all
All
were.
were.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're absolutely. Yes, he was, and famously, Jack Warner, one of the worst.
Yes, he was. He wasn't Disley. Well, wasn't him.
Yeah, I wonder what studio exec back then like wasn't an asshole. Like which one was like the nice one?
Yeah, none of them.
Yeah, none. Don't care. Anyway, let me continue. Yeah, well, you didn't mention Emma Fudd. Yeah, so AK was a prototype, and then during the time AK's appearance, they given her the name Emma Fudd, but they wanted to design the character more different than Emma Fudd. So they want to break away with Egghead to Emma Fudd. And during the time where Emma Fudd and Happy Rabbit make an appearance in the Chuck Jones cartoon.
Chuck
Yes,
Jones.
in 1940, until Tex Avery redesigned Emma Fudd and create the cartoon character that we know today. Tex Avery create Bugs Bunny.
Yeah. Now, Dwayne, do you remember what Bugs Bunny's first line was?
What's up, Doc?
Yeah.
That was his first line in 1940, The Wire Hair. Bugs Bunny's debut.
Yeah.
So, isn't it great that his first line is also like his penultimate, his like actual legitimate like catchphrase?
Like I think it's beautiful. Yeah, that's his first line. Like what a like that's the start of an era, literally, with the one line.
It's where everything sort of starts. It's where it reaches its height. It is what carries us through to today.
Yeah. All because of one line. That's not yeah, yeah, it's so good. I actually a while ago, I think it was the last time I was in Hollywood, I went out to the Hollywood Cemetery. I got to see Mel Blanc's grave, which is super cool and sad and nice. I don't know. I don't know how else to describe it except that it's like, oh, look, it's kind of nice. And it has "That's all, folks" too written across his on the stone.
Oh, wow. That's all, folks. That is. Well, I mean, also, if you look at Porky being his first voice to being one of his last, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that too is very, very heady. That's kind of very poignant.
But I will say too, so this first Bugs Bunny cartoon, I mean, right? I mean, it's like the gags. This is to me when the gags start getting like really good, right? I mean, this is when they really start like kind of delivering the kind of like crazy more violence. And then
he's chaotic.
Yeah.
So, and that's what they were saying largely with Tex is when Tex comes in, Tex starts to genuinely like kind of up the ante as far as what these characters are doing. The animation style changes slightly, at least for the tunes that he is directing and producing. Like he's bringing in a level of speed that wasn't there before. The jokes are coming in quicker and faster. And over the last 13 to 15 years, almost 20, maybe 15, the people who started at what is it, Termite Terrace, right? The people that started there are not only fine tuning their craft, but they're in turn bringing in newer talent that's also sort of like specializing. Once we get to Chuck, we start to see an even more different
I mean,
sort
even
of
this is also the start of the not using music as much too, right?
well, for this specific one, for what is it, for Merrie Melodies in particular. So and Dwayne, correct me where I'm wrong, because I'm bound to be. Warner Brothers had specifically moved like Looney Tunes to being just black and white, while the Merrie Melodies stuff they were starting to produce in color.
Yes, that's right. That is true.
And
That is
And
true
then
at the time.
and then with Looney Tunes, they had to keep an aspect of music in there, but they were moving away from that with Merrie Melodies. So there was a whole thing in the contract and the stories where it had to be like centered or based around a piece of music. But then they were like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. As long as there's like a little bit of music in there, it'll be fine. It was sort of the gist that I got, right? Because they were becoming increasingly like story based, but then you get people like Avery and Jones and these dudes that are able to work with those scores and kind of create to them.
Hey, they
I
would
think
animate
even
to it as part of like the joke too.
right, wasn't it? And Dwayne, Liz, maybe one of y'all knows. Maybe it was it Clampett that they said could animate to any music? It didn't matter. There was somebody specifically they called out, and they were like, "This guy, you hand him whatever song, and he's got like 30 jokes for it, and could make it work every time." I can't remember which one it was, but they played to all these different directors' strengths inside of this realm of characters, which I also found to be very fascinating throughout this.
Yeah, and one fact too I remember, because we're talking about color also, that the fact that the first colors that they were using were only two-tone colors because Disney basically owned the rights to like Cinecolor. Like they were like, we own color. Sorry. which blows my mind when I think about that. Like, imagine today it's Disney being like, "Yeah, we just own HD TV. Sorry, everybody else has got to stream low
But
quality."
they very well could,
Yeah,
Yeah.
too. That's the scary thing.
And if you know Disney, it's not that far out of the realm of possibility that they actually do and are just licensing it out to people right now. like Disney says, "Oh, you think you got 6K? You don't know about no 6K." Like,
yeah, you don't know nothing about our fucking 30K that we got going on over here.
All right, let's move forward. Tex Avery departure. Tex Avery and Leon Slusher has a fallout because of the disagreement what Tex Avery wants. Well, he did make his final cartoon featuring Bugs Bunny. Um, Leon, Leon wants to cut the half wants to cut the half of it out, and Tex didn't like it. He was disagreeing, and then there was a bust heads between Tex and Leon. Leon suspend Tex Avery without pay. Until days later, Tex quit Warner Brothers in 1941 to jump to MGM.
Wow, and we haven't got to also there was a couple of strikes that happened too, all in between this, with a lot of the animators going on strikes because of these kind of bosses.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna get to that. Now, saying you did mention Ben, World War II. Yeah, during the time of World War II, because there's many cartoons that has made some cartoon shorts in World War II. Not only Warner Brothers, but Disney and Universal.
I mean,
And
correct me if I'm
all the
wrong,
American
but the
companies.
government was kind of pushing that stuff, right, to all these companies at the time.
Yeah. Yes.
and largely for sales in the form of like war bonds, right? Like, so there's there's one aspect of it that is what do you call it, like propaganda, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Anti-Nazi, anti-whatever. And then there was a whole other aspect of it that was like, give the government more money. Give the government more money. We have to make better bombs. We have to be able to, fund these factories that are creating the tools of war. So when your boys go over, they've got better machine guns. They've got all of that good stuff than the enemy. So buy your war bonds and then go shoot up some Nazis. And Donald Duck and Bugs Bunny will tell you how to do it.
Oh, Daffy Duck.
Or Daffy Duck, exactly. Yes,
Wouldn't it
yes.
have been cool at that time to have bought a war bond and like you get your certificate in the mail or whatever, and it's got Daffy Duck on the cover,
I'm surprised they
my God.
didn't
like
do
an
that.
Uncle Sam hat.
Yeah.
Like good job.
I be seeing this cartoon many times back in the old days. I used to have VHS tape at the time, and I did saw it used to be on Channel 9. So I'd be seeing that many times. Some other cartoons I know had never air on TV because it was stereotype, and they stopped airing because it has some other stereotype cartoons that like Nazis, World War II, Negroes, and then Japanese stereotype portray at the time, and they do not want to put it on TV at the time.
So before we dip too far into the strikes and anything else, I guess this is as good of a time because we are talking about these stereotypes. It's during this time, right? Like the early and mid 40s that we're getting to the censored 11, right?
Yes.
Well, what's that again? Can you explain that?
Sure. Dwayne, do you want to take it or do you want me to?
You could take it.
So the censored 11 is basically a series of 11 cartoons that are made by I guess sort of the bigs at Warner Brothers, right? The guys who have formed the Merrie Melodies and the Looney Tunes characters into what they are, but they're all cartoons that are deeply racist in not only in tone but in caricature, wildly offensive by even 1940 standards.
Yeah, even
Like,
the 1940s, they're like, whoa, hold up here.
Seriously, even in
Or
the
the
40s,
1930s.
The 1930s, yeah.
or
Yeah.
the 30s. I think even then they were like, maybe we've gone a little too far, guys. Let's reel it back just a bit. But
Like, I know we still have
one of-
segregation, but this is a little too much.
But even one of Bugs Bunny's early shorts has made it into the censored 11. It's like it's one of his like maybe his fourth or fifth actual appearance. He's out hunting rabbits with this horrible black caricature.
All this and rabbit stew.
All this in rabbit stew. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, I remember this cartoon. I used to have it on VHS tape, but never aired on TV. They never aired on TV in the 60s and 70s because it has been not censored, but has been removed during the racial stereotype at the time.
So I guess the overall question is, and we've talked about it 1,000 times over, but Dwayne, since you're sort of our expert here with Merrie Melodies and Looney Tunes, when it comes to these levels of stereotype, do you think they should be eliminated? Do you think they should just be taken away from view? Or do you think that there is a world wherein we still need to have access to these, if for no other reason than to see how far we've come?
During the decades and time that the some racial cartoons that we know that they were never put it on demand or street or everything. This the only way you want to see the on release. You want to see the on release. You're gonna have to go order online a DVD or Blu-ray so you could keep it and own it because you're not gonna see it on HBO Max. You're not gonna see anything. But however, I did some research. So on the internet, there is some racial stereotype cartoons for back in the days. Warner Brothers existed on social media, and I did found something that I never seen before. It didn't bother me. It didn't bother me at all, but it was entertainment. But some of the people was offensive back in the days. But I did found something. I did found something, and I did watch it. There's other cartoons I know, but back in the days, I used to have the VHS tape at the time, and yes, I be seeing that couple of times. A lot of them I never seen before, but I take a chance to watch it on internet and just check it out. So if you look for the episodes and the cartoons like you never see before, all you gotta do is type on Google and check out videos, and then if the video existed, so they do have it, but if you want to own it, you could order online. It'll be very difficult to find it. It will never exist air on Max or WB, whatever.
But I guess what you're sort of saying there is regardless of its level of offense to people in general, there's still a place for it in the world of art and entertainment, because at least that's what I hear. That's honestly how I feel too, regardless of how offensive it may be to people. I think it's impossible to look at how far we have come without going back and looking at where we started and where we kind of came from.
Yes, that's true. I've been seeing those a long time ago. Used to be on Channel 9, but now things has changed, and people will never understand. If you grew up watching Looney Tunes, Merrie Melodies at the time, if you love watching cartoon violence, like you see a guy hit him in the head, or commit suicide, blow your brains out. I've been seeing that many times, from the Tex Avery to Bob Clampett to Fritz Fleeming to Bobby McKenzie. But there is some censorship. During the 70s, 80s, and 90s, there is some censorship. When I was watching Looney Tunes, like on Nickelodeon or Fox or ABC or WB, I'd be seeing that, especially CBS or NBC. I'd be seeing some censorship at the
I
time
mean,
when I was
right, even
while I was
now when they try to bring
watching.
back Looney Tunes, they took Elmer Fudd's gun away, didn't they? That was like a whole thing.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did, because of the controversy what happened in the state of Las Vegas, Nevada.
So there's a part of me that's like, this is when cartoons were pure,
Yeah.
very, very pure.
It's like when
You
cartoons
could
are
have
cartoons.
you could have characters literally threatening suicide, walking off screen, giving the impression that they have committed suicide. You could have other characters straight up like chain smoking big fatty cigars. You could have other ones drunk in a corner off of a jug with three X's across of it. Everybody's terribly sexist and racist. Like Bugs Bunny is at one point standing, instead of "This is your life," he's imitating Groucho Marx, and he's standing on a podium that says "Beat your wife," and it's like it is shocking to me that this was sold to me as a kid as being like wholesome entertainment, right?
Yeah, you got that crazy title name. Oh, like
Well,
I told back in the golden era. Yes, there was some crazy violent cartoons. You know, not only Looney Tunes, Merrie Melodies, but the Woody Woodpeckers, the Tom and Jerry, the
Oh,
Popeyes.
dude, all of them,
Mm-hmm.
every single last one of them. It's more like as a culture that I think is more fascinating. And the only reason why we keep bringing it back to sort of Merry Melodies and Looney Tunes is because that's where we're sitting right now. But there are none of these companies that didn't build their fortune off of this stuff.
oh, for
You know what
sure.
I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that same thought that we were talking about, Ben, is why today they're like we're gonna hide it because that definitely was
But
not what we want to do for kids now.
but that's to me that's like again that's okay, great, that's fine. You can make a cartoon you can make a cartoon for kids with these characters. Yes, fine, perfect. But at the end of the day, you can also continue you also can continue to make these cartoons in sort of their, I would say, their purest form. You can leave maybe some of the sexism and racism. Like you can leave
Right, but
some of that
removing a
behind.
Yeah.
gun from Elmer Fudd,
Yeah.
It,
that's insane to me. And I am for gun control. And that is insane to me. Like Elmer Fudd with a gun is not going to cause a mass shooting. Um, poor, frivolous storage of a gun, mental illness, not having strict gun laws. That's what's going to, like, what's, where's the logic?
Yeah.
what are you saving? Who
Right.
are you saving? You know, um, the whole bit where what is it? It's the back and forth and him blowing Daffy's bill around his jaw. Arguably, in any context, absolutely hysterical. I don't care who you are. Like the rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season, all of that stuff back and forth.
Yeah,
Absolutely hysterical.
yeah,
Um,
we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that soon. We're gonna get to that soon.
oh,
But I want to
bring us
some other
back in, Dwayne.
characters.
Where are we headed to, brother?
Okay, here we go. We're gonna go to Bob Clampett now. After Tex Avery left Warner Brothers, so Bob Clampett take his place to continue to do more Bugs Bunny and other animation cartoon. Now, Bob Clampett create another character that is one of my favorite before Frisch Free redesign. Bob Clampett create another new character that has become very popular but very cute. His name was Tweety.
Tweety.
Yay. Little buddy.
Yes, before he became a canary, designed by Fritz Frieden, one of my favorite lines of all time that Bob Clampett did make 3 Tweety short cartoons. And the only line I love Tweety always says like, "Oh, a poor Tweety, he fall down, go." This is one of my favorite. And you know what? I have so much love and respect of the late great Bob Clampett. Bob Clampett was one of the most amazing animated directors of all time. I've been watching Bob Clampett's animation all the time, and you know who's inspired of Bob Clampett's time? The guy who created Ren and Stimpy was inspired by
Wow,
Bob Clampett.
that's cool. Now, if I remember from the doc, that Tweety was initially bald, right? It was like a little bald bird, and then that
That's what
was
with
based
Pink.
off of
Yes, with Pink. Yes.
yeah, and it was based off of a photo of himself as a baby, himself as a naked baby.
It's a little
Yeah.
naked baby.
Yes. That was Bob Clampett created, and he did make 3 solo short film short cartoon short for Tweety until 1947 until 1947. Okay, well, I'm gonna move forward to 1946 just a second. But there's another character that to bring two rivals together. Brice Freeman creates Sylvester the Cat from 1945. That's Sylvester who be Tweety's rival in 1947. Now, after Bob Clampett left Warner Brothers in 1946, Brice Freeman wants to bring Tweety and redesign from pink to the yellow canary character and give it a different personality without the Bob Clampett Tweety personality. That he won't be using that word called he falls down called boom. We don't hear that anymore because Bob Clampett is no longer in Warner Bros. Since he left Warner Bros. Because with TV is coming to the rise, Bob wants to move on some other things that he wants to create his freedom. His freedom is to create his own characters and create his own thing in a different production without Warner Brothers.
No.
Yeah. So
Now,
the
I'm sorry.
notion.
I'm sorry to cut you off for a second. I don't want to miss it. So until
Please.
1947, the cartoon short called Tweety Pie, Sylvester and Tweety now collide rivals. Thanks for Brice Freeland brought together and redesigned Tweety from pink to a yellow canary sweet little bird.
Now this is when we
That
get Grandma,
changed the
right?
la-
This
yes,
is when we get the old
changed
lady.
the landscape.
And then like this is this when the old lady joins in too, the grandma?
Oh, that's Granny.
Yeah.
That's beginning in the early 50s. That's
Oh,
the
okay,
beginning
so
of the
she's
early
not in
50s.
this yet. All right.
Not yet. Not yet.
So again, it took 2 years to bring the cat and the bird together.
Yes.
2 full years.
Yes,
You would
because-
think these two
yeah.
things were manifested at the same time with the amount of time that they'd spent together. Again,
Yeah.
it comes back to placing things where they need to go over the course of time and letting things sit and cook for a minute. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, during the 40s at a time, during the 40s at the time, 1944, Leon Schlesinger sold to Warner Brothers Studio. So he sold it to Warner Brothers since Leon Schlesinger retired from producer.
Right, and that was the guy. I mean, they did like working for him, didn't they? Right, he had a very hands-off, like approach as a producer, didn't he?
Yes, he was.
Because if I remember the doc, they said that a lot of the animators actually liked working under that guy because he was just fun and
Yeah.
didn't give a shit what they were doing as long as it was
Yeah,
turning out stuff.
Yeah. Chuck, Frizz, Clampett, Frank, Arthur Davis, Robin McKempson. Yeah, they did like Leon work with him. Some didn't like him who had disagreement. Like Tex Avery had a disagreement with Leon. They had a fallout. So Tex quit after he was suspended for without pay.
Yeah.
And Bob Clampett left. Bob Clampett left Warner Bros. in 1946. So some other animators took the place, like Brice Freeman, Robin McKempson, Chuck Jones, Arthur Davis. Anyway, there's another Looney Tunes character come to the rise, become the next stars, like Falco Langholm make his debut in 1946. Pepe Le Pew make his debut in
Pepe Le
1945,
Pew.
created by Chuck Jones.
So this is right before Chuck Jones started becoming. Is this when Chuck Jones starts becoming bigger?
We're gonna get to that in the 50s. We're going to the 50s. Yes. Yeah, we're gonna go to the 50s because we're definitely gonna talk about it in just a few moments. And I didn't mention Falco Langholm. Yeah, Falco Langholm created by Robin McKempson, and then two other characters made an appearance. Henry Hogg is in the first time Henry Hogg make an appearance, but back in 1942, Henry Hogg make his debut in 1942, created by Chuck Jones, before Robin McKempson take the character, become Falco Langholm's rivalry.
Now, so when does the strikes happen? Is that still like I'm assuming right around this time, right before the 50s, right?
Uh, the strike starts in 1953 at the time.
Yeah, okay, 1953. Because yeah, I remember
Yeah.
them talking about the strikes and then the producer locking the door to not let animators in, which I think is hilarious.
That's the thing. I'm gonna hold that. I gotta run it back real quickly. You can still talk about it, and we'll talk about the 50s. I'll be right back.
I guess we ever taking a break for a second because Dwayne's gotta use the bathroom. But yeah, I mean, this strike is crazy to me because I think they said it lasted like 2 days, and the producer locked them out and then realized I need people to work, so he just
So we've gotta bring them back in.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
formed one of
this
the
whole thing,
first unions too, the cartoon union.
bro, this whole thing is nuts to me. Again, like, so Foghorn is a Tex Avery guy, and he's based on a politician. Like, so much of this stuff is literally yanked from like headlines, people around,
Real
like the
life.
level of parody. Who was it? What's the drunk's name? That was the singer that God damn, he tried to sue Looney Tunes.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Bing
yeah.
Crosby.
Yeah, Bing Crosby, yeah.
Drunk's name.
I'm pretty sure they were drunk celebrities in the 40s.
That's good stuff.
I mean,
I have to tell y'all, Henry Hawk. So Chuck Jones is my favorite animator of all time.
Yeah.
And Henry Hawk was my favorite cartoon character when I was very little, and I called him Chicken Hawk. And I loved him so much. It was my favorite thing to see when Looney Tunes would come on. I would wait for Foghorn Leghorn so I could see my Chicken Hawk.
Hey boy, I say, hey boy, you look for the chicken boy. Yeah, Foghorn Leghorn he's the most awesome kid. I like Foghorn Leghorn. He does have a southern redneck accent. He's so awesome. I love that character. Foghorn Leghorn, great character.
So,
Great character.
and since this is probably a good time for this, we'll take just a quick aside before we dip into the 50s. Dwayne, overall, who is your favorite like Looney Tune and or Merrie Melodies character?
That's a good question. Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
You're going Bugs?
Bugs Bunny all the way. I love Bugs
Yeah.
Bunny. He's the most amazing character of all time. I mean, if it wasn't for Ben Boss Hallway, all Tex Avery, W know Bugs Bunny.
100%.
Nobody would never heard Bugs Bunny in an entire century ever. If it wasn't for two great creators, Ben Bugs Hallway and Tex Avery.
Yeah, I got
Done
Bugs Bunny's
and
my
done.
dude. I feel hell yeah.
Who's your guy, Bugs?
Yeah. They said they
Also?
gave him that Flatbush accent. It's just amazing.
Yeah, If you watch the short cartoon, that Bugs Bunny is from New York. He does have a New York accent.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you the truth, for me, it's literally like it's a toss up, right? It's either it's gonna sound, I mean, it'll make sense.
Don't tell me it's
understand.
Bosco.
I watched that Jungle
Bosco.
Jitters. That's my favorite.
Bosco was the first Looney Tune character came out. He was fun. He was a fun. Very popular character until two creators quit Warner Brothers and take the character written by MGM until Leon need to find another character. I did mention it.
Yeah.
Buddy.
So yeah, but what's your favorite, Ben?
Never talk about Buddy. Buddy sucks. I'm sorry. Buddy is one of the most overrated characters. Nobody never mentioned it ever again.
So
and I don't care what if Chuck or Tex or Bob Clampett bring back Buddy and make Buddy a punching bag to Daffy Duck or Bugs Bunny. I would love to see it. I would love to see Bunny get his butt kicked by Bugs Bunny or Daffy Duck or Porky Pig. Give me giving the fall of the anvil, giving blow him up to TNT. Why not? We're gonna show what real violent and funny is all about. Because back in the days, yes, cartoon was violent at the time. If you watch Tom and Jerry, you see Tom always chasing the mouse and then hit with the hammer all the time. I've been seeing it a lot because cartoon was violent. When I was a little kid, hey, it was the childhood days. We love violent cartoons. We
Hell
love
yeah.
We
it.
love violence.
Mhm.
We love it.
That's
It's our
right.
favorite.
And now we're gonna move forward. Oh, there's a character I forgot because
Oh,
Wait,
real quick, Steeler. I'm
That's
just gonna
right.
say it'll surprise. It may surprise people. My two favorites, though, real quick, are Sylvester and then Yosemite Sam. Like I love
yeah,
Sam when he
Yosemite
shows
Sam.
up.
I haven't forgot Yosemite Sam.
We're
You
getting to
feel
him.
like Chris Freeland because Bugs Bunny needs another villain besides Emma Fudd. I know Bugs
Yep.
and Emma have been rivals, but Bugs Bunny needs another rival. Yosemite Sam.
Yep.
Now the question is, how that name come from? That's a good question. I discovered there is a place in the mountain around state called Yosemite. So when they discovered it, they used the word Yosemite, and then it has and one of the animators. I have a friend named Sam. I said, "There you go."
they're like, oh, that sounds funny. Sam, boom. There we go. Character made.
Yosemite
Done.
Sam. That nailed it. That nailed it. And you know what? You gotta give Fritz Freeland a lot of credit. Fritz Freeland, great director, great animated director of all time. I love Fritz Freeland. We're gonna get to Fritz Freeland in the '60s later on. But now that's not a character. It's one of my favorites. Besides Bugs Bunny, 1949, Chuck Jones create another new characters that paved the way and take it into the top and into the 50s and doing Looney Tunes franchise, and that is the Roadrunner and Wild
Yeah. Oh, I love Roadrunner.
Super Genius.
Yeah.
Not.
I love the Roadrunner cartoons because the way they talk about it too in the doc of like, because like the way they describe it of like, oh, that like the coyote like isn't dumb, but it's just like his shit that he keeps buying is just fucked up and he's just unlucky. And the Roadrunner isn't trying to hurt Coyote at all, or even aware that he's trying to be killed, that he's just running, living life.
And he always has to be on the road.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's
That's
not
one of the rules.
Yeah.
a road runner.
So that, yeah, I love that shit. And yeah, I love the Roadrunner cartoons. They're one of my favorites.
Oh, me too. The Roadrunner Wild Coyote is one of my favorite characters of all time. I love the Roadrunner cartoons a lot. I'm really big fan of both Wild E. Coyote and the Roadrunner as well.
Like when
Chuck Jones is the only guy who make more Roadrunner and Wild E. Coyote cartoon, except Fritz and Robert McKim said we'll get that a little bit later on.
Yeah, because right now, so are we entering into the Chuck Jones era right now?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Because to me, not only I love Tex and Bob, I'm gonna say I'm a big, huge Chuck Jones fan. I love Chuck Jones. God rest his soul to the legend. I grew up watching his cartoon, his animator, his style. He's bitchin'.
I mean, he is the Looney Tunes. Like when I think of Looney Tunes, it's the Chuck
Same.
Jones cartoons. You know?
When I think of the man who brought horror into cartoons, it was Chuck Jones. It was Hair-Raising Hair. It was Gossamer. It was Dr. Lorry. You know, he's the definitive, for me, the definitive animator in the
Oh yeah.
Merrie Melodies, Looney Tunes era.
So
For sure.
he's also the guy who brought psychedelia into it as
Hell
well.
yeah.
Like, I mean, the level to which the art steps up is fascinating throughout his his run.
I like too that like during this time when he was kind of the head of all these cartoons, there was another company that came about. Oh, fuck, it's not the PGA, PAG, I think it's called.
UAP.
UAP.
No, that's Unadiah.
Yeah.
That's
Well, there's
On a-
another whatever.
on a
There's another
different-
animated company, but
Yeah,
they were.
UPA,
Yeah,
UPA,
yeah,
UAPs
yeah,
are
yeah,
what they're calling
UAP, yeah.
UFOs now.
But
That's a different anime
yeah,
company. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of that anime company. The anime company is kind of cheap. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it a little bit later on.
yeah.
Um, I want to talk about Chuck Jones. His animated career. Chuck Jones animated style. If you go back to the late 30s and early 40s, his animated style was unbelievable because he had a little Disney anime style of Chuck. If you watch one of his cartoon shorts on 1939 called Old Glory with Porky Pig and Uncle Sam, that animated short was amazing.
I mean, he worked for Disney, did he not? At first, I know he's friends with Walt Disney, but I'm pretty sure he started off at Disney, if I'm correct.
Perhaps, perhaps I don't know. I gotta check. I gotta check more documentary about Chuck. But the truth is, James, yes, you did bring it up about the strike. Yes, when Warner Brothers closed down during the strike, Chuck was trying to find a job to do the animation. So he got touched by Disney because he wants to work with Disney for just a little while. But unfortunately, Disney did not call him back.
Damn.
Yeah. Until 7 days later, the Warner Brothers Studios reopened, so Chuck went back to work.
Okay, yeah.
And Chuck doing more some other animation cartoons. I mean, Fritz Frieden and Robin McCampson are still there, and they still continue making cartoon shorts.
Yeah. So what else do we get in the 50s? What any other new characters?
There's a new cat. Let me hold that for 1 second because I want to say about Chuck Jones and Bob Clam. Let me go back to the first just a second.
Yeah.
Bob Clam teamed up with Chuck Jones. Bob was supervisor director, and Chuck Jones was the animator. They used to work with each other until Bob and Chuck have a fallout because Bob Bob just hired Chuck around his back that Bob Clam is the one who did the work. But no, Chuck did the work. He was the animator at the time.
Right. Yeah. That's what we talked about earlier. We talked about earlier with the Oscars, where the producer would grab it and Chuck Jones wouldn't get any credit.
Right. Yes. Exactly. And Chuck doesn't want to work with Bob Clam anymore. So Chuck wanted to do his own thing. He wanted to direct and he wanted to direct his own thing. So Chuck started his animation debut in 1938 called The Night Watchman.
Oh, okay. So then when does he start? So in the 50s he starts taking over as the head of the Looney Tunes? Like he becomes like the guy, right?
Chuck Jones is the guy, but he wasn't taking over. But he did what the side were together with Fritz Frieden and Robin McCampson. But they had their own thing. Fritz Frieden had his own Sylvester and Tweety. Chuck Jones had his own Wile Coyote Roadrunner, and Robin McKenzie had his own Falco Langhorn. So Chuck never used Tweety. Tweety. Well, actually, he did use Tweety once in a cameo. In a cameo in a cartoon short.
Okay.
And Chuck used Sylvester like 3 times. So they made one they used Sylvester taking on Daffy Duck in a cartoon show called The Scarlet Pumpkinecko. Where Sylvester makes a cameo appearance. And then suddenly Sylvester did make some 2 appearance with a Porky Pig cartoon and then they make Sylvester as a coward cat. Then the carnivore character. So there's a different personality. I've been seeing some animation director do their own thing. Like Arthur Davis did directed and replacing Bob Clampett to continue his vision. But Arthur Davis didn't stay longer. So he left Warner Bros. Back in 1949.
Now
Leon Schlesinger passed away in 1951.
Now, too, in the 50s, I remember what the doc was talking about was now it's like post-war America, so everyone's moving into suburbs. So the idea of and then TV is coming out. TV is the brand new
Yes,
amazing thing that hit. So the fact that these cartoons were only made for theater, I remember that was killing them. That they were
yes,
doing real bad.
But
that's true.
and also, what was Warner Brothers looking into? Not even television as a medium, but what was going to save the theater at the time was 3D. They were going into 3D filmmaking. He was pulling budget from all sorts of other places to pump into the filmmaking, effectively, like almost canceling his what would turn out to be his big money makers.
Well, the doc said too, right? They even
Also
like
during the
forgot that
50s,
it
you
was
find
there.
out that they are licensing the character. He didn't know which building they were actually in for the longest amount of time. He didn't know which part of his studio was the actual animation
Yeah.
studio. And
Which
one
is
of the things that
hilarious.
we've sort of touched on a little bit that we haven't really dipped into too much is each of the guys that we're really sort of calling out are the heads of their own sort of department. So they each have a group of dudes that are painting the cells, that are creating story. These are simply the directors of certain groups inside of Warner Brothers too, right? So they each have their own little like army underneath them pounding this stuff out. Now we get to the television era, and Warner Brothers is at a point to where they're like, well, we won't invest much, but we'll invest a little.
And now
So
Disney
we
went
start
to TV before Warner Brothers, right?
Yeah. Oh, Disney popped on TV.
Yeah.
Disney was like, "This is our jam, bro." But Warner Brothers started to recycle their cartoons, and even though a lot of them were in color, even the old two-tone ones, they were putting them back into black and white and recycling them in sort of blocks, right? And Steeler, tell me if I'm right or wrong. This was the debut of the Bugs Bunny show, which then ultimately transitioned into even Saturday mornings, like when I was a kid in the 80s and 90s. Because
Yeah.
that show aired for almost 50 years in some form or fashion, right?
Yes, that is true. We're gonna get in the 60s just a few more, and I do not want to miss anything. Back in the 50s, there is some other new characters has been coming out. There is a new character that I think he's one of my favorites of all time. The created by Robin McKempson before Fritz Free redesigned the character. Speedy Gonzalez, the fastest mouse of
Yeah.
all Mexico, make his debut in 1953, created by Robin McKempson.
Hell yeah.
There we go. Specifically, friend of the show, Reeves was asking about Speedy in the chat.
I was about to respond to him and say, "You mean my 13-year-old son?" But I didn't.
So Speedy was 53.
1953, yes. Before you see the character we know, the original design character of Speedy Gonzalez, well, he used to have a head, he has the gold teeth, and they make a little bit of stereotype of the Mexican mouse. That was his debut. That was Robin McKenzie's career until 2 years later, in 1955, Fritz Freeland reintroduced Speedy Gonzalez and redesigned to make Speedy more cuter and remove the that one half gold teeth and make it more Mexican cuter with the hat, with the bow, with the white shirt, and make it more like a Mexican hero, as the fastest mouse of all Mexico, and history made, you
When
know.
was Slowpoke Rodriguez introduced? Was he at the same time? Like,
No, in 1957, Slowpoke make his debut in a cameo. He made two
okay.
appearances twice in the Speedy Gonzales cartoon. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about the Speedy cartoons in the 60s in just a few minutes. In the 50s, yeah. I want to finish up the 50s because now the 50s of Looney Tunes cartoon not winding down, but it became more important to the fans, and the cartoon shorts have became a Academy Award winner. But there is some great short cartoons back in the 50s. Was great. And I'm gonna say 1951, Rabbit Fire. It is one of my favorites. And yes, Ben, you did mention it. I don't want to forget that when you got Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck collide for the first time,
Yeah.
Chuck Jones brought it in. Chuck Jones brought it in. Have two clash stars clashing in together for the first time. You talk about rabbit season, duck
Duck
season.
season.
Rabbit season, duck season. Okay, who's the best? Bugs Bunny or Daffy Duck?
I mean, and that's so crazy that it's so late in the game of Looney Tunes because, like, if you would ask me anything about Looney Tunes, like, that's like the first thing that comes to my brain is duck season, rabbit season, like, immediately. And the fact that it happened so late in this Looney Tunes lore, almost at the end of Chuck Jones's, like, career working on this stuff, is kind of insane.
So
Yeah, not quite for the moment, but Chuck was a genius, and he brought it together, and that was very amazing. So yeah, Rabbit Fire is one of the best. Duck Dodgers of the 21st and a half century
Yeah.
is one of the best cartoon shorts that we
Love
love.
Duck Dodgers.
I love it too.
When I was younger, I don't know if you guys, I mean, you guys probably remember it more than I do, actually, but there was like the Warner Brothers store, where there used to be a bunch of Warner Brothers stores, and there used to be one by the mall where I grew up when I was really young. It actually was Kings Plaza Mall. I know you remember
Yes,
it, Dwayne. I know
I
you know
used
Kings
to.
Plaza.
I used to go there a long time ago.
But they had a Warner
A
Brothers
long.
store, and I remember they had like a Duck Dodgers like spaceship in there, and I was always go into it. I would just go sit in the spaceship for like while my mom went off and go did whatever around the mall because I just thought it was the coolest thing ever.
It was. I was there. I was there buying VHS tapes. I mean, I was a big fan of Looney Tunes at the time. I love that place. I love Warner Bros. Studio Store, and I still miss that place. I still really miss that place, but that place no longer
Yeah, it's
exists.
sad. I remember when they closed it. That was so sad.
I know, and I stopped going to malls. I don't go to malls anymore. My malls days
A lot
over.
of people don't
That's
go to
finished.
malls anymore.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. It's all crap. It's all garbage. I just don't care about it. I go other places I want to go. I stay underground. I go to underground place to get what I want. That's it.
Dwayne,
Anyway, yeah.
when is the short Duck Amuck come out? What does that
Oh yeah,
mean?
1953. Yes, 1953. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I
I
mean
love.
that's top favorite for me too.
That's one of my top favorite. Yes, and there's another cartoon short. It became a Academy Award winner. What's Offering Dog was one of the best Chuck Jones animation at all time.
Yeah,
so okay. And there are people. This is like the chat is going insane for Duck Dodgers. First off, uh, we've had a
Marvin the
couple of new
Martian.
folks join, which
You're
is amazing.
making Reeves yell in text
Reeves is
form.
screaming about Marvin the Martian. Um, when and famously not Marvin when he first shows up. He's just the Martian. He's just a
Yeah.
Martian. He wasn't named Marvin for the longest amount of time. But Dwayne, when are we introduced to the Martian?
Yes, Martin Martian made his debut in 1948.
In 48. There we go.
That's
Okay.
right, and a Bugs Bunny short cartoon.
The time frame, and this is what I found most fascinating in watching this, is the way I got introduced to the cartoons. I assume, and James, I just don't assume you, because I know you're like 10 years younger than me, right? Steeler and Liz both a little bit closer inside of that 10. But I got introduced to Merrie Melodies and Looney Tunes on Saturday mornings on ABC, right? That was my introduction to it. And the way they would show these cartoons, you don't know what's from 1942 and you don't know what's from like 1967. You have no idea. It's this mushmash unless you're.
Yeah, I mean, I never knew that at all. Every time I watch these like short cartoons, I just were like, oh, they were made in the past. They were, they were like, they were made like, whatever. They were just made then.
And that at that age, you're not looking
Yeah.
for the date of the cartoon, but then to suddenly put it in these kind of cultural sort of context, and to give it that little bit of like weight to things that's what's the most mind-blowing to me, is that something from 1942, when I'm 10 in 1990, like almost 50 years in, can still carry like a level of impact. You know what I mean? It's still funny at its core. It still hits. The stuff from the 50s still funny. When it sings,
Yeah. For me, I remember them. They used to play this. It wasn't Saturday mornings, but they would play them on like basically filler on Cartoon Network, and that's how I watched a lot of it. I remember it being a lot of Roadrunner, more than anything, when I was watching Cartoon Network.
Mine was Saturday mornings, and then also TBS, and
TBS
would rerun the cartoons, and so that was a big deal for me. And I lived with my grandparents, and it was something I could watch with them that they enjoyed.
Well, that's cool.
We would watch those reruns on TBS. Thank you, Ted Turner.
I'm gonna give Ted Turner a lot of credit. I have so much respect for Ted Turner, because Ted Turner loved the old school cartoons, not only Looney Tunes, but Tom and Jerry and the Hanna-Barbera cartoons that he created, Cartoon Network back in the 90s. And yes, the 90s was the good old days of cartoons that we know. Reruns of classic Hanna-Barbera and the MGMs and the Warner Brothers of the library Warner Brothers of the early days before 1997, that they decided to merge, bring Looney Tunes from the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s together, where Ted Turner sold it to Warner Brothers, since Warner Brothers owns Hanna-Barbera library videos, cartoons at the time. Yeah, so everything has changed, and back in the 90s and the early 2000s, Cartoon Network was the best.
It was incredible.
Until today, it died years ago, and I'm gonna say rest in peace to Cartoon Network.
Yeah, it sucks. Cartoon Network's fucking nothing now.
It's a dead channel. I don't watch dead channels anymore.
Now it's interesting you bring up Hanna-Barbera, because the way like this documentary presented it is that Hanna-Barbera they basically killed Looney Tunes in a way.
Here's the thing. We're gonna go to the 60s right now. But before we continue, Warner Brothers, Will Howard and Joseph Barrett, I have so much respect to them, because they're the one who created Tom and Jerry. If it wasn't for Tom and Jerry, if it wasn't for Will Howard Barrett create Tom and Jerry, there'll be no Yogi Bear, there'll be no Snacker Puss, there'll be no Scooby Doo, there'll be no Flintstone or the Jetsons.
Yeah, I don't want to come off that like I'm hating on Hanna-Barbera, because I love Hanna-Barbera. I'm just saying, I remember in this documentary, the way they put it, the way Hanna-Barbera took over TV, kind of like was killing Looney Tunes basically, and how cheap they made Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't know, but I'm not Harabera guy, but I have
Hmm.
so much lot of respect for them of their vision. But it was too, but that's a story for another time. As someone who grew up watching Harabera cartoons, um, just come join Toa Tubies with Ben Johnson and James. Talk about the history of Harabera in the future. I'll definitely be on chat and enjoy and listen to you guys. I mean, whoever grew up watching Hanna Barbera like Tom and Jerry or the Jetsons or the Yogi Bear, come join Toa Tubies, be the guest appearance, and bring the history if whatever you want.
So
Feel
yeah,
free. I'll definitely listen to you
so
guys.
what happens to Looney Tunes in the '60s, Dwayne?
Yes, well, yes, we're going to the 60s right now. What Ben John did mention, yes, yeah, it was the beginning of the TV era, like the Bugs Bunny show. That's what this thing started. Doing it in 1960s. We lost the original voice actor of Emma Fudd, who passed away. Arthur, I forgot his last name. I forgot his last name because he's the only man who did the voice of Emma. I thought it was Mel Blanc, but no, it
Oh, okay.
wasn't Mel
I
Blanc.
mean, Mel
But I'm
Blanc
gonna
did
go
everything else, so
except Emma Fudd. We'll get to that a little bit later. The original voice actor who did the voice of Emma Fudd passed away in 1960. His final appearance of his voice is back in 1959. So until he passed away, the another voice actor replaced Emma Fudd with they give Emma Fudd two short cartoon speak appearance cartoon. It was Hale Smith. Hale Smith who did the voice, who replaced Arthur as the voice. I wish Mel Blanc could do the voice of Emma Fudd. I told you, because Mel has a faster voice, but he found another actor to do the voice of Emma Fudd until Emma makes his final last appearance without
yeah.
speaking.
But now the
Yeah.
'60s was the end of Looney Tunes, right? I mean, that was like the end of all these theater cartoons.
True. True. It was the end of the golden era, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. It was the end of the animated creator. 1962, Chuck Jones was fired in Warner Bros. Doing a violation contract
Right.
that he was involved in another company and UPA where he was doing a animation feature musical called Gay Paris.
Right. Yeah. And it starred Judy Garland, if I remember from the documentary,
Yes.
which is cool. And then that's what we were talking about earlier. What I love about Chuck Jones is that he's making these Looney Tunes cartoons, and then there's this other company that are like more pretentious cartoons, and they like hate Looney Tunes. They like despise it, and they despise Disney because it's too realistic. So they want to go back to their more contemporary kind of weird looking cartoon. And Chuck Jones is like, yeah, you're kind of right, and then continues to make these Looney Tunes cartoons, but then also works on this other stuff on the side until he eventually gets caught when Warner Brothers buys the rights to that movie and see he's a writer on it.
Yeah, that's true. And Warner Bros. Had no choice to terminate Chuck Jones' contract.
But I think that's
Oh,
amazing.
they had a choice. They could have rewritten that contract, Steeler.
Yeah.
Like that's people. What is it? That's power gone mad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You-
it was.
Big cigars. You're a studio man. You know what I mean? You didn't kiss the ring
like,
enough.
Yeah.
like Rupert Murdoch. Yeah, like Rupert Murdoch. Fuck that. Screw that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
And that's
Anyway.
but so that makes
anyway,
me respect Chuck Jones so much though, because the fact that he makes
Mhm.
these goofy cartoons and then you have these pretentious assholes also being like, nah, Looney Tunes are dumb. And him being like, yeah, you're not wrong. Let me also make your shit and make that better. And does. I think that's just awesome. So yeah, Dwayne, what else we got left here? So what happens after Chuck Jones gets fired?
Okay. Okay, Chuck Jones did make a final cartoon appearance in 1964 of War Run Wile Coyote War Peace. That was Chuck Jones' final project since after he was fired in 1962. So Chuck and his staff who worked with him was going to MGM to do the Tom and Jerry cartoons after William Howard George Barrett left in 1957, and they wanted to do so they wanted to do their own vision of Tom and Jerry with their own style, but still pay the respects for William Howard and George Barrett, who formed their own company. So that was the time Chuck Jones and his staff joined MGM in 1964 until 1967.
Okay. So who's running Looney Tunes then?
All right, so Fritz Freeland Fritz Freeland joined forces with David DePatrick to form their own company called DePatrick Frickley Enterprises to keep the Warner Brothers studio open. So during the time after the Pink Panther movie came out, they wanted to do the Pink Panther short cartoon.
Okay.
So Fritz Freeland's final directing was let's see, his final directing the cartoon was Speedy Gonzales and Sylvester from 1964. Here he is. Let me go check. Yeah, here we go. Let me check this quickly. Yes, non-involved. That was Fritz Freeland's final director for now until others animated directors took their place. But the animation has become little bit cheap at the time.
Yeah, 'cause that's what I heard was kind of the depth of Looney Tunes, because they were taking the cheap animation that basically what Hanna-Barbera was doing and try to do to Looney Tunes, but because it was made so cheap and there's more dialogue, which is never really a Looney Tunes thing, that's what was killing them and basically put the nail in the coffin, if you will, of the golden age.
That's right. And that was the last golden age cartoon on January 16, 1964. Bugs Bunny final appearance called Fair Hair. That was Bugs Bunny's final appearance. But the last golden age Looney Tunes cartoon was Cinderella in the Grass Harada. I couldn't pronounce the name that right. Was the final Looney Tunes short cartoon. So that was a final cartoon produced by David DePatrick, the final producer by Warner Bros. Cartoon.
Wow.
Until they closed down for now. But Fritz Freeland and David DePatrick took the device to keep the studio open. So October 24, 1964, Looney Tunes are back. But unfortunately, it was a different direction, become the dark age of animation.
Yeah.
That it would never be the same again. So now they use only 4 characters in the Looney Tunes shorts. They don't use Bugs Bunny anymore because Bugs Bunny had their own show called the Bugs Bunny Show on ABC at the time. So the top stars now was Speedy Gonzales, Daffy Duck replacing Sylvester.
Yep.
Where Sylvester made 3 cameo appearances during Speedy Gonzales short cartoon, and they made Daffy Duck as a main villain and Speedy Gonzales' rival during the Patrick Frickley era.
Yeah, and this is considered a really bad era of Looney Tunes.
Yes, it was. It was a really bad era. They also continued doing the Road Runner and Y.E. Coyote cartoons at the time. So let's see who directed at the time. Robert McCameson did direct one of the World Run YA Coyote before he joined his final YA Coyote and Roadrunner cartoon. We'll get to that later because there was a different animated director replacing the continuation of Chuck Jones named Ruby Lorada. Ruby Lorada became a director doing the Roadrunner YA Coyote cartoon at the time, doing a low budget animation stuff that did not fit with me. It did not fit with me at all.
I don't think it fit with a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's so much from this time that it's like legacy breaking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because to
It
me,
really is.
you know, and maybe I'm wrong here, but like to me, Warner Brothers really didn't like come back as animation until the 90s, when like, you know, Spielberg took over and we started getting the Tiny Toons and Animaniacs and then Batman the Animated Series. I think that was the shit that brought Warner Brothers back after like all these.
Oh my God, hang on. That is what brought it back. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, we're gonna move forward in a minute because the dark age of Looney Tunes was not the same, because what happened is they couldn't use some other characters that we know. They couldn't use Falcon anymore. They can't use Tweety anymore because or Porky being time anymore because because due to the TV Arise TV that had their own show, like
Yeah.
you got the Bugs Bunny show, you got the Porky Pig show, and then you got the Merrie Melodies show. But we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that in the
we gotta start wrapping up a little bit here, Dwayne. So where are we at right now in the future, right? So it's like the Looney Tunes are going down in the 60s. Where are the Looney Tunes in the 70s? Are there anything?
No,
Nothing.
1969 to 1969 since the 2 years arrival of the Warner Bros. Silver Odd, where they had new characters like Pooh, Cadmer, and Master Mouse. Not that great. It was sad. It was very sad. 1969 they closed Warner Bros. Studios permanently.
Yeah, and then I guess
So the hippie movement killed the Looney Tunes.
I mean, probably.
Is what it is. Hippies destroyed
69
it.
was a big year, man, you know.
Woodstock.
But The Graduate came out. Isn't that when the Tate murders happened, right? 69?
Yeah. Well, that was Summer of Love, 67? No, maybe you're right. I don't know.
Say
I
69
don't
was
know.
a big year.
Hippies ruined everything.
And especially Hanna-Barbera as well, because they use that different sound effects for Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, I heard. And the doc said that Looney Tunes was using Hanna-Barbera sound effects, which I think is also really funny.
Bro, how far do you have to fall that you got to go to, like, arguably one of your biggest rivals and be like, hey, man, we ain't got no sound, bro.
Now, before we wrap up here, because this is weird, because it is our first retrospective. So normally, I don't know how this works, because we have our rating system of how, you know, where we put this show. So I'm assuming it's all just going to be, you know, success.
Well, golden age Looney Tunes. I mean, I think in this instance, I don't know if it's necessarily even like a rating sort of situation, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying. But Dwayne Steeler, you get a
success
for giving us this awesome masterclass. You get the success on there. But I do want to, before we close out, I do want to talk about the future of Looney Tunes, because I love what they've been trying to do ever since. You know, I was watching this ad the other day from my childhood, like 2004, and they tried to release a show. It lasted one season. It was called Looney Tunes Unleashed, and it was basically like, how can we make Batman the Animated Series with superheroes with Looney Tunes? And it's horrible, but it's amazing.
Oh, you mean Lunatic Unleashed?
Yeah, I guess that's what it's called. Whatever. Yeah, that's really bad and pretty funny. But now there's a movie that's coming out, or supposedly coming out. You know, besides the Space Jams and stuff, you know, there was going to be a skate jam at a certain point, with Tony Hawk. There is a promo photo you can find. That's my dream movie. I still want it to this day. But most recently, there's a Wild Coyote movie that Warner Brothers had made that stars, it's a live action cartoon hybrid that stars John Cena and Will Arnett. And it's about Wile E. Coyote suing Acme for all the faulty shit that he's gotten from them over the years.
Over the decade. Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah.
I heard about it, but WB canceled.
So that's the thing. They did cancel it at first, but it's not canceled anymore. And about a couple months ago, they said that Warner Brothers was shopping it around instead. They're selling the rights to it, which at this point, I mean, last time I read, there is like someone got it. I forget who it is, but it's supposed to get released sometime this year. At least I hope, because that's the movie I want to see.
Me too.
So bad.
Me too. I want to see it too, because I want to see some good Looney Tunes movie.
So do I.
I want to see it.
Man, I don't know if you have Dwayne. Do you ever see that new Space Jam movie that came out?
No, but I saw some clip. But I did saw the original Space Jam back in the 90s.
That's a fun movie, but the new one, man, oof.
No, why retell the same story just with LeBron James?
That's why I hear this Wile E. Coyote story. I'm like, that's fucking genius. Like, that's such a good idea.
The fact that he's got all these medical bills stacking up and he's like, how am I going to pay this? Like, it puts it into such a dark, weird...
And I'm pretty sure James Gunn worked on it in some way. Well, like, he produced it and did something on it, so...
Oh, then you know it's dark.
Yeah. All right, but Dwayne, man, it's been such a blast having you on the show. This chat's been crazy. It was a true masterclass, Dwayne. Thank you. Thank you for hanging out with us and being on this show.
Yes.
Always. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you to be part of your Toy with Tubies. I know I got a lot of stuff, but I know you guys got to wrap this up, and I totally understand.
And we talked the whole
Dwayne,
30 years.
wonderful.
We literally went from 1929 to 69. So we got through a huge gap of history today, which is amazing.
I love it. Yeah, and Dwayne, thank you for the research. Thank you for sending the links. Always a pleasure. So yes, thank you, sir.
Of course, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. You check out the history, the untold history.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out again to this YouTube channel. Still feel like I'm saying it wrong, but KaiserBeamz, because they got like the whole 6-episode documentary. Each are like 45 to 55 minutes long. And that's where we got a lot of this information from, and it's fucking awesome. So if you really want to know the history, really go check those documentary. All free on YouTube. Just go check it out.
Absolutely. And James, I don't know how we're gonna do it, but somehow we have to move forward next week. I don't know what are we talking about for next week.
Well, next week's gonna be interesting because I'm also kind of half going away next week. But you kind of mentioned it in the chat earlier, and I wanted to pick a movie. So I've never seen it, but I want to watch Fantastic Planet.
Oh, this is gonna be good. Okay.
Because I've never seen it. Dwayne, have you ever seen this movie?
Fantastic Planet, negative.
1977, I think it, right?
73.
73.
It's a beautiful film.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. Ben, did you ever go to Fond Object record store in East Nashville?
Yes.
So one of my good friends who passed was one of the owners of Fond Object, and we would host film screenings in the backyard. And I got the opportunity to host Fantastic Planet. It was amazing.
Oh, sick. That's cool. I said I've never seen it. I'm very excited to watch
It's
it.
beautiful.
I think you're gonna be I think you're gonna be pleasantly surprised. You might have some heartstrings pulled there a little bit, James.
Oh, all right. Let's get to it. Let's get there. All right, Dwayne, before we close out, can you give us a That's All, folks, for our listeners and everybody?
I haven't done that for a very long time. I was little, so maybe I'll do the Porky P. Maybe do the Mirage of Mel Blanc. So this is for my favorite outer, the late great Mel Blanc. Mel, this is for you. I mean, that's all, folks.
Yeah.
You guys, this is all Kyle's mom's fault. Shut up, Cartman. Kyle's mom is the one that started that damn club, and all because she's a big, fat, stupid bitch. Don't say it, Cartman. Wait. Don't do it, Cartman. Wait. I'm warning you. Okay.
Hello, peasants. Want to kill all humans?
Work there, dude.
We'd like some money.
Yeah, money.
Money is cool.
To a